Bit of an unusual story tonight. The key to the jail cell in which South Africa's icon Nelson Mandela was locked up by the apartheid regime for almost 2 decades is set to cost more than £1 million. That's if it goes on auction in the UK next month. This comes from the maximum security prison on Robben Island, where the Nobel Peace Prize laureate and former South African president spent 18 of his 27 years behind bars. Minister for Sports, Arts and Culture, Nathi Mthethwa, is joining us to talk more about this. Minister, you've issued quite a stern statement today saying you're considering taking action to stop this auction. Have you launched that action?
Well, we've already written to the auctioneers, would-be auctioneers, and we are also we're pursuing the former employee, because one fact which is not raised in this whole discussion is that Christo Brand is the former employee of, besides the fact that he was a warden way back then, but later on he was employed by Robben Island Museum. So therefore it's a simple matter for us. During the year when Cabinet has passed the repatriation policy, what we're looking at is to repatriate artifacts and remains, human remains and so on, which in fact it's mainly mortal remains. And at that point, when we're looking at that, we hear that such an important object of cultural and heritage significance has been donated to auctioneers in the US. So our call is simple. That should be halted, and the key should go back to its rightful place, which is Robben Island. Mm-hmm. And that's what the consultation today was about, which was a multidisciplinary consultation of our Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, DERCO, and Justice Department.
How did this key end up in the hands of an apartheid jailer who later worked for the Robben Island Museum? Did Christo Brandt steal the key?
Well, Christo Brandt will have to explain. As I'm saying to you, that he was an employee, and there was an issue of a missing key when he was still an employee of Robben Island as a tour guide. This would be between 2008 to 2017, 2018. So we want him to tell us what happened. But this particular object and other objects do not belong to any individual. They belong to the state. They are governed by the Act, which is the National Heritage Resources Act of 1999, which stipulates very clearly that there are national estates, and some of those national estates are equipment like this, which have historical and cultural significance to the people of South Africa. So it belongs here, and we want it to come back here.
It belongs here. Was it part of memorabilia at the museum, and did it disappear? I'm just trying to follow the chain of how it ended up now in the UK, about to go on auction. Was it part of the artifacts at the museum which disappeared?
Well, it was part of the. It's a whole host of things. Remember, Tembekile, that the Robben Island Museum has been declared by UNESCO as the World Heritage Site. So therefore, anything which was there during that declaration belongs there. It cannot be taken away. It's so strict that even if you want to do refurbishment within the site itself, you have to go through a lengthy process. Now, when we are told in the media that a South African donated this aspect, which is an important object like the key, without the knowledge of the custodian of the key, which is Robben Island Museum, without the knowledge of government or any other heritage institution in the country, then it's a problem. So that is why I'm saying to you that we are following up the matter, including with Christo, including what we have done already, writing to the auctioneers, stating our case very clearly that it's with them fraudulently until we are proven otherwise, but that belongs to Robben Island and it must come back to Robben Island.
You were alerted essentially to this key about to go on auction through media reports. How is it that no one had raised the alarm about this missing key, especially if it's such a crucial part of the history, the story of Robben Island and the incarceration by the apartheid regime of the late Nelson Mandela?
No, the whole process was done, follow-up, investigation and so on. And I'm saying to you, around that time, there were many employees, including Christo Brand was an employee of Robben Island. And it was followed up. It wasn't discovered, but it was left open to continue investigating and checking where the key is. And remember that this is the key which we still have to authenticate whether it's the real key or a copy was made and so on, because the master key is still there, which is being used for the cells, including Madiba's cell in Robben Island.
Okay. So, Minister, bear with me. I'd like us to go back to the issue of the letter. And you may have explained this, and I missed it. The letter that's been sent now to the auction house, is it a polite letter from the South African government saying, listen, you've got something that belongs to us, we'd like to have it returned? Or is it a letter from the lawyers of the government saying, if you dare go ahead with the auction, there'll be consequences?
Well, we are saying it must be returned, and we are saying it's with them inappropriately, in case they didn't know, and they had to be communicated to by the custodian of the heritage resources in this country, which is a South African Heritage Resources Agency, which is one of the entities of the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. So as custodians, they have written that letter. And we don't want many things. We want the key to be returned back to Robben Island.
But legal action is an option if they say to you,
we're going
to proceed.
Including possible interdicting of the process and everything else. In the media, it was reported yesterday that this auction is going to take place next week. And when the team of this multidisciplinary department meeting and agencies of the state conducted the people there in the U.S., because the company is in the U.S., it became apparent that actually they are planning to auction this on the 26th of January. And we are saying that there will be no need for that. The key must come back to South Africa.
What about Christo Brand? I know you said he should also face questions because reportedly he's the one who's handed over this key to the auction house in the UK. What sort of action are you pursuing specific to him?
Well, let's not speculate about that, but this is a grave matter. And it's related to everybody concerned in that way. Facts will dictate what course of action need to be taken, if any. We want to know how did it land in the hands of non-South Africans in the first place. Who gave them that authority? Because the authority of such objects have to come from the World Heritage Site, which is, in this instance, the Council of Robben Island Museum.
What then about overall, what's the picture in terms of South African historic artifacts and pieces of our history, whatever they may be, that are currently sitting in private hands? I know you've mentioned bringing back mortal remains, but what about things such as keys and other pieces?
Well, as I said to you, Tembekile, that the cabinet this year passed the policy which gives us, when I say us, our department, a leg to stand on in engaging with other countries. You would remember that many, especially from the West, European countries, had a lot of artifacts belonging to Africa and Africans, South Africa included there. So we doing a whole process of the inventory of things which and objects which belong to South Africa, of cultural significance and others of heritage and so on. We are working through the policy which we have to look into, and also just getting out to the public there for people to be able to raise things. Already people have been coming forward to say that a particular artifact has been, or was stolen in the country or from his or her ancestors and all of that and so on. So we are on that path. That's why I'm saying that when we have reached a point where we are venturing out there to the world to get what belongs to us back to us, here is something which is going out of the national borders of South Africa without any authority, because in the final analysis, the state is the authority here.
Sports, Arts and Culture Minister Nathi Mthethwa, good to speak to you, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thanks so much.